Hello, one and all. Welcome to another electronic circuit analysis and design online lecture. Today's topic will be differential amplifier numerical. Let us directly begin with the topic. So today we will cover a variety of BJT differential amplifier numericals. So let us go to the first numerical directly. So the first numerical reads, when input to a certain differential amplifier is V1 is equal to zero point 0.1 sine omega t and V2 is minus zero point 0.1 sine omega t. Basically here zero point 0.1 is magnitude. Then the question continues. It is found that the outputs are VO1 equal to minus pi sine omega t and VO2 is equal to pi sine omega t. So this is one condition. The second condition says when both the inputs are 2 sine omega t, the outputs are VO1 equal to 0.05 sine omega t and VO2 is equal to 0.05 sine omega t. So we have to find CMRR considering both the situations. So in the first situation, it is very clear that the inputs are of same magnitude but out of phase. And in the second case, both the inputs are of same magnitude and they are in phase. So let us consider the first case. So as per the above statements and considering only the magnitudes, we have Vd is equal to V1 minus V2. So basically V1 minus V2 means we have over here V1 as 0.1, we are only considering the magnitude, and V2 as minus 0.1. So V1 is 0.1 minus of minus 0.1. So the differential input voltage becomes 0.2. Now we are considering one case, that is we are considering output VO2 to be greater than VO1. So this is just an assumption. So we can consider the other way around also. So if we consider output as VO2 minus VO1, since we have assumed VO2 to be greater than VO1, then output voltage will be, differential output voltage will be phi minus or minus phi, that is 10. Now similarly, we will get the differential voltage gain, which is output voltage divided by differential input voltage, that will be 10 divided by zero point 0.2, which is 50 over here. Now we'll consider the second condition. The second condition says both the inputs are 2 sine omega t. So the magnitude is 2 for both the inputs. So common mode input definition is V1 plus V2 divided by 2. Hence, the VCM, which is the common mode input signal, is given by 2 plus 2 divided by 2, that will be 2. And in this case, the output voltage is given by VO is equal to VO2 minus VO1, that will be 0.01. Here there is a mistake over here, it should be minus of minus 0.01. So here there is a correction over here. VO1 is minus 0.01. Let us go back and check. Yes, VO1 is minus or minus 0.05 sine omega t. So over here, so we should have written over here VO2 minus VO1. So it should be 0.05 minus of minus 0.05. So please take a note of it. So that becomes 0.1. So common mode voltage gain is output voltage divided by common mode input signal. So that will be 0.1 divided by 2. So that comes out to be 0.05. Now we know CMRR is given by AD upon ACM. So that will be 50 divided by 0.05, which comes out to be 1000. Now if we want CMRR in dB, we will take 20 log to the base 10 of 1000, which will give you answer as 60 dB. So that's the answer to the question numerical number 1. CMRR in dB is 60 dB. So we can expect such type of numericals in exams which will test your conceptual understanding. Okay, so now we will move on to the next numerical. So let us see what does next numerical holds for us. Okay, so this is our numerical number 2. So this is our a BJT differential amplifier given to us with RC1, RC2 resistors. Rn, well, Rn is given as 0 ohms, having two inputs. Uh, both the outputs are shown over here, VO1, VO2, and in place of Re, we have a current source of 2 milliamperes here. So that's a change over here. So we will proceed through the question. VCC and minus V is plus or minus 15 volts. So the question is, for the given differential amplifier, find number one, the DC values of VO1 and VO2. So we have to find the DC values of VO1 and VO2. That is, indirectly they are asking us to find the collector voltage, the voltage at this node over here, and the DC voltage at this node over here. So that is nothing but VC1 and VC2. So DC value of VO1 and VO2 is nothing but VC1 and VC2. Next, they are asking us to find single-ended output gain, that is considering only VO1, and input will be V1 minus V2. Then they are asking us double-ended output gain, that is differential output upon differential input. So basically the second question is, the second subpart number 2 is basically DI-UO configuration, and the third part is DI-BO configuration, and the beta for both the transistor is given as 100. So let us go ahead and solve it. So what we will do is, we will keep this little bit minimized. Yeah. So what this current source will do? So basically we know this IE1 and IE2 is total I. So basically the current IE1 plus IE2 is 2 milliampere. And we know both the currents, in order for the differential amplifier to work, both the currents IE1 and IE2 should be of the same magnitude. So in this case, IE1 is equal to IE2, which is equal to 2 milliamperes divided by 2. So each of the IE1 and IE2 current component is around 1 milliampere. Now we'll assume further that base current is negligible, hence we can write IC1 is similar to IE1 and IC2 is equal to IE2. So hence we can write IC1 equal to IC2 equal to 1 milliampere over here. Now we move on to the next topic, that is the DC value of VO1 and VO2. So basically what are they asking is the DC value of VO1 and VO2. So that is nothing but VC1 and VC2. So basically if we apply a KVL over here, so we will get VC1 is equal to VCC minus ICRC1, IC1 RC1, and your similarly VC2 will be VCC minus IC2 RC2. Now here RC1 and RC2 are same, IC1 and IC2 are same, hence we can write the DC value of VO1 and VO2 is equal to VCC minus ICRC. Yes, so VCC is 15, IC is 1 milliampere, and RC2 is 6K. So if you work it out, you will get VO1 and VO2 equal to 9 volts. So that's the answer to the question, the DC value of VO1 and VO2. Now we'll move on to the next topic. Now they are asking us VO1 upon V1 plus V2. That means output is being taken from the collector of the transistor 1. So basically that's what they are telling us to do. They are telling us to take the output voltage across collector 1 with respect to both the inputs. So that is nothing but your DI-BO configuration. So let us come back. So again we are assuming that the output voltage VO2 is greater than VO1. and it is a DIUO configuration. Now let us go back to the formula sheet and check what is the formula for DIUO configuration. So for DIUO configuration, the differential gain formula is half beta into RC divided by R pi plus RB. So let us go and check. Yes, we will use that formula. We have put here minus sign because we have assumed VO2 to be greater than VO1. Minus sign also indicates that the inputs and the output are out of phase with each other. So the formula is beta RC upon twice R pi plus Rn. Here basically Rn is 0. R pi is given by beta Vt upon ICQ, that is 100 into 26 millivolt upon 1 milliampere, which comes out to be 2.6 kilo ohms. So our differential voltage gain is AD is equal to minus beta RC upon twice R pi. So that is nothing but 100 into 6K divided by 2 into 2.6K. So if you work it out with your calculators, so this will come out to be 115.38, the value of AD. So it has no unit because it is a differential voltage gain. Now let us move on to the next part. The third part says we have to evaluate VO1 minus VO2 upon V1 minus V2. That means output is taken between the two collectors. So let us go back to our numerical. So over here the output is balanced, that is VO1 minus VO2, and the inputs are V1 minus V2. So the configuration becomes DI-BO. Let us go back to the numerical. Now the formula of DI-BO, let us check. So DI-BO, the formula is beta RC upon R pi plus RB. So let us go back to our numerical. Yes, we have considered minus sign because VO2 is greater than VO1. That is our assumption. And minus sign indicates input and output are out of phase. So it is minus beta RC upon R pi plus Rn. R pi we have evaluated before. Rn is 0. So it is nothing but 100 into 6K upon 2.6K. That number comes out to be 230.77. So the differential voltage gain over here is minus 230.77. Okay, so we have completed this numerical number 2. What we will do is quickly we will simulate this circuit in LTSpice and check whether the results are matching or no. So we will keep this window minimized over here, and we will open LTSpice. Well, by now all are familiar with LTSpice and how to simulate circuits. So let us open numerical number 2. Okay, so this is our numerical number 2. So my RC1 and RC2 is 6 and 6K, and we have a 2 milliampere current source over here. So in the first case, we will simulate it only for DC analysis and check our DC conditions. So let us do that. So we'll go to simulate and run. Yeah, so it is showing us the DC conditions over here. So let us cross check these answers from our result. Here VC1 and VC2 is nothing but here we have labeled it out plus and out minus. So basically VC1 is out plus and VC2 here is basically out minus. So they are coming out to be 9.05, both of them. So let us check with our numerical how much it is coming. So as for our numerical, the DC values of VO1 and VO2 is 9. So it is around 9 and we are getting 9.05, which is quite close. Next, we will check IC. IC is coming out to be 0.00099, which is around 0.99 milliamperes. And we were getting it around 1 milliampere. So it's quite close. IE is exactly 1 milliampere. So IE1 and IE2 is exactly 1 milliampere. So yes, the DC conditions are matching exactly. Now let us go back and check with the AC conditions. So for AC conditions, we have to keep this .op as a comment, and we'll go to the simulate and press on the run button. Since here frequency is given as 1 kilohertz, we can keep the time period as 3 milliseconds so that we can view 3 waveforms. Okay, so we are ready with the output screen. As you can see, the x-axis over here is time from 0 to 3 milliseconds. Now let us add two plot planes, one for the input and one for the output. So first we will plot differential input. So differential input means we will plot V in plus minus V in minus. Remember here, both the inputs, the input is around 10 millivolt peak. So basically it will be 20 millivolt peak to peak. So our input over here will be 40 millivolt peak to peak because it's differential input. Now let us check the output over here. So output will be, let us say, out plus minus out minus as per the circuit convention. Yeah, so they are coming out of phase, indicating that 180-degree out of phase is the phase shift between input and output, and hence the minus in the formula comes. Now minus sign. Let us check the peak to peak amplitude of them. So this is the first phase, the second phase over here. So here the value is coming out to be 8.75. So the value came out to be 8.75, and the input is around 40 millivolt. So if you work it out, it will come out to be 8.75 divided by 40 millivolt will come out to be 218. So let us write that number. So AD over here is coming out to be minus 218.75 as per our calculations. So this is the number which we are getting. 80 to AD is 200 and minus 218.75. Let us check with our answer. So in our answers, we were getting around for DIBO, we were getting around 230.77 theoretically, and practically we are getting by simulating in LT Spice as 218.75. So that's quite close. We haven't used the entire BJT, all the parameters. We have just used the beta value to be just 100 over here. As we can see, we have defined it. Okay, we can define the dot model statement npn npn beta as 100, and even if after doing it, let us see whether we are getting any changes or no. So we'll simulate it again. No, we are getting exactly the same result, 6.75. So there are no changes in the result. In spite of keeping beta, we are added only one parameter. There are a lot more parameters of BJT. So with this, the gain is around nearby matching. It is around 230.77 theoretically, and with LT Spice, it's coming out to be 280. So with this, let us move on to the another numerical. So let us resume. This is a numerical number 3. So if you carefully notice in the circuit diagram, you have a JFET instead of a MOSFET. And again, we have the differential input, and we have a balance output. Note over here in the numerical only, it is given that VO2 is greater than VO1 as indicated by plus and minus sign over here. So if you have a JFET, don't get panic. You can solve it in a way we have solved MOSFET based DFAM. So over here again the current source is given with a value of 6 milliampere, and we are supposed to find ID1, ID2, DC values of VO1 and VO2, single-ended output gain, double-ended output gain. Here the additional parameters given are IDSS equal to 12 milliampere and VP is equal to minus 2.5 volt. So let us see how we will use this to our advantage. So above circuit, nevertheless, it's a differential amplifier using JFET. So we have seen the circuit explicitly. So the ID1 and ID2 will be ID1 plus ID2 is addition equal to 6 milliampere. So ID1 and ID2 will equally share 3 milliampere. So that will be very, very clear. Now the DC value of VO1 and VO2 is nothing but the drain 1, the voltage across drain 1 and the voltage across drain terminal 2. So VD1 and VD2 will be equal to the DC value of VO1 and VO2. So VD1 will be equal to VDD minus IDRD and VO2 will be VDD minus IDRD. So both will be same. So we'll see now. So VDD minus IDRD, VDD is 15 and ID is around 3 milliamperes as we have seen over here. So it will be 3 milliamperes into 3K. So the answer will come out to be 6 volts. So the DC value of VO1 and VO2 is same, equal to 6 volts. Now let us check single-ended output gain. Now single-ended output gain means output is taken from drain 1 of transistor M1. So as you can see, this is transistor M1, the drain terminal 1, so output is taken across VO1 and ground. So it is a DI-UO configuration output they are asking us. So again it is given that VO1 is greater than VO2. So the formula, let us check the formula again. So for DI-UO configuration, the differential gain formula is given by GMRD divided by 2. So here it is written minus because VO1 is less than VO2 we have considered, so hence minus. So it will be minus GMRD upon 2. So our next task is to find the value of GM. Now for a JFET we know that ID is given by IDSS into 1 minus VGS upon VP the whole square. So if we take ID upon IDSS in one side, the right hand side we get 1 minus VGS upon VP the whole square. So if we take the square root on both the sides, 1 minus VGS upon VP is equal to square root of ID upon IDSS. Now we'll use the formula. We know the GM formula for a JFET is given by twice IDSS upon mod VP into 1 minus VGS upon VP. So in place of 1 minus VGS upon VP, we will replace it by square root of ID upon IDSS. So here now the new formula of GM is twice IDSS upon modulus of VP into square root of ID upon IDSS. Now all the values are given. IDSS is known, VP is known, and ID is also known to you. So we can easily work it out. The value comes out to be 4.8 milliampere per volt. That's the value of GM. Once you have the value of GM, it's very easy, relatively easy to find the differential gain. So it will be minus GM RD upon 2. So that value will come out to be minus 7.2. Now let us go to the fourth part. Fourth part is asking us to find VO1 minus VO2 divided by V1 minus V2. That means they are asking us to find the differential voltage gain for a DI-BO configuration for this circuit over here. So now both the outputs are active. So for a DI-BO, let us check what will be the formula. So for DI-BO, the formula for differential voltage gain is ED is equal to minus GM into RD. Again, the minus sign is indicating that VO2 is greater than VO1. So GM we have just now evaluated, RD value is known to us. So if you work it out, you will get it as 4.8 into 10 is to minus 3 into 3k, that number will be 14.4. So the differential gain formula for a DIBO configuration is this minus GM into RD, and the final result is minus 14.4. Now what we will do is we will quickly cross check these results. We will simulate this circuit in LTSpice and we'll quickly cross check these results whatever we have achieved over here. So let me just minimize this and open up LTSpice for y'all, and we will open up numerical number 3. So this is our numerical number 3. Just a word of caution, instead of MOSFET we have connected here JFET. So from the library over here you have to select JFET, NJF, both NJF. So the JFET parameters given in the numerical is VP is equal to minus 2.5 volt, IDSS is equal to 12 milliampere. So basically your VP is not written as VP directly in the dot model, it is written as VTO. And there is no provision to write IDSS, it is written in terms of beta, BETA. So the beta formula here is IDSS upon VP square. So if you take 12 milliampere divided by 2.5 square, you will get around 1.92 into 10 raised to minus 3. So that's what we have substituted in dot model over here. So kindly make a note of it. Rest of the things are remaining the same. So this circuit is similar to what we have just now seen. Let me just show it to you. Yeah, 3 and 3 kilo ohms, 6 milliamperes and 15 volts. So that's our circuit. Now let us cross check over here. Yes, 3 and 3k, it is 15 kilo ohms, and we have applied here out of phase signal at the both V1 and V2 are out of phase of same magnitude, but of 180-degree out of phase. Now let us go ahead and simulate the circuit. So what we will do is, first we will simulate only DC analysis. So for DC analysis, we will remove this. Okay, so now we are ready to simulate the DC analysis. We have .op. Okay, we have to uncomment the .op model. So I will remove this again. Let me just remove this and run it again. Okay, so if I simulate it, it will ask for the option. I'll go to DC operating point and click on OK. So here it is. So here are my DC values over here. So let us cross check these values with the results. Okay, so first is ID1 and ID2. ID1 and ID2 is coming out to be 3 milliamperes over here in LTSpice simulation, and in our numerical analysis also we were getting around 3 milliamperes. So it's correct. Here also we were getting in 3 milliamperes. Let me just adjust this. Yeah, now it's proper. So ID1 and ID2 theoretically and practically it's same. Next was VD1 and VD2. That was coming out to be 6 volts. So here also you can see exactly it is 6 volts. So our DC parameters are exactly matching. Now let us check the differential outputs and inputs. So for that again we have to go to simulate, click on run and go to transient analysis. Here we have already built up the circuitry. So our input is of 1 kilohertz frequency. So we'll put here 3 milliseconds. So we will get immediately our output screen. So here we will divide the plane into two plane plots, one for the differential input and another for the differential output. So I will first plot the differential input. So the differential input says V in plus minus V in minus. So that's the way they are labeled over here. As you can see, it is labeled as I in plus, I in minus, and D1 and D2. So accordingly, we will simulate it. And in the next plane plot, we will add the differential output. So our differential output is VD1 minus VD2 over here. So if I click on OK, I'll get the output. Yes. As you can see, it is coming out of phase. So the minus sign is justified in the numerical. Now let us check the output amplitude. So the output amplitude here will be, let me just right click on it to add the trace. Yeah. So this is first trace. Let me add the second trace over here. So the first trace is over here. The second trace is over here. Is it giving me peak to peak value? Yes. So the peak to peak value over here is 1.1498 divided by the input peak to peak is around 80 millivolt. So 1.1498 divided by 80 millivolt. So if you work it out, that number will come close to around 14.37. So let me just write that number again. So I'll go back to the original circuit and I'll write that number. AD is coming out to be minus 14.3725. This is coming as per our simulation result. So AD value is around 14.3725. Let us cross check this with our numerical. So in our numerical for DIBO, we were getting around 14.4, and here in LT Spice, simulated value is minus 14.3725. So quite close. So that's it. We will now move on to numerical number 4. So this is a numerical number 4. This is the diagram given. It is a differential amplifier using MOSFETs, and we have a current source over here of 1 milliampere. So we are asked to find ID1, ID2, VD1, VD2. Secondly, we are asked to find differential voltage gain, then common mode voltage gain, and output impedance of the circuit. And they have given us additional parameter. GM is directly given to us as 1 milliampere per volt. So for the first case, we need to find ID1 and ID2. So ID1 and ID2, as we have earlier seen, ID1 plus ID2 will be equal to 1 milliampere. So ID1 and ID2 contribution will be around 0.5 milliampere each. Now VD1 and VD2 will be VDD minus IDRD. Both will be same because the circuit is symmetric. So both VD1 will be equal to VD2 will be equal to VDD minus IDRD. So that will be 10 minus 0.5 milliamperes into 3.3 K. So that number, if you work it out, it will come out to be 8.35 volts. So we have identified this is a DIBO configuration, and we have to find a differential gain formula. So differential voltage gain. So differential voltage gain is given by GM into RD. GM is directly given to us, and minus sign indicates that VO2 is greater than VO1. Basically, yeah. So GM is 1 milliampere per volt. RD is 3.3 K. So the differential voltage gain is minus 3.3. The third part, they are asking us the common mode voltage gain. So the common mode voltage gain, the formula is GM/RD upon 1 plus twice GM into RS. So basically RS is the source resistance. Here there is no source resistance connected in the circuit diagram. So basically what happens is, if you have a current source given to you without mention of any internal resistance, we have to assume that the internal resistance of this current source is infinite. So basically we have to consider this current source as a ideal current source, delivering 1 milliampere current. So that's what we will exactly do. So since an ideal current source is given to us, its internal resistance will assume it to be infinite. So in this formula, RS is infinite. So the ACM value will be reduced to 0. So this is only possible for an ideal current source. Practically, it is never true. And they are asked us to find lastly the output impedance of the circuit. Note, if we do the AC analysis, the output impedance is nothing but it will come out to be RD. So RD value is around 3.3K. So output impedance of the circuit is RD, which is equal to 3.3K. Now we will quickly simulate this circuit in LT-Spice. I've already built up the circuit for y'all. So we will quickly simulate this in LT-Spice and verify the result. So I'll open up the LT-Spice. That was numerical number 4. So here is the circuitry. Just now we have seen this. So 3.3K, 3.3K, 1 milliampere source, and additionally the parameters of the MOSFET are also probably given to you, so that the GM turns out to be 1 milliampere per volt. Now quickly run this thing. So first we will run it for DC analysis. So for that we'll go to simulate. We'll click on run. We'll go to DC operating point and we'll click OK. So the moment we do that, we have got our DC values. The circuit was already made in LT-Spice for y'all. So we'll check the DC conditions first. Let me just open up the theoretical values also. So we'll keep this window open. So over here, ID1 and ID2 value is 0.5 milliampere theoretically. Well, practically also it's coming out to be 0.5 milliamperes only. Here it is the drain current for M2 and drain current for M1. That is ID1 and ID2 is coming out to be 0.5 milliamperes. And VD1 and VD2, the DC value is coming out to be 8.35. And here also VD1 and VD2 is coming out to be 8.35 only. So hence the DC conditions are validated. Now let us go back and run the AC conditions, that is transient response of the circuit. So again go to simulate, run. We have given the frequency to be 1 kilohertz. So we will give the stop time as 3 milliseconds, 1 upon 1 kilohertz. So we want to see 3 cycles. So as soon as I run that, I'll get the output window. So I'll take 2 plot planes, one for the differential input and one for the differential output. So my differential input is V in plus minus V in minus, which is plotted over here. Next, I will plot the differential output, that is VD1 minus VD2, as I've labeled it as D1 and D2. So here is my input and out, differential input and differential output. So now let us check the amplitude of the output. So I'll take first cursor, next I'll take the next cursor, and the peak to peak value is coming out to be 131.62 millivolt. That I'll divide it by the input peak to peak, that is 40 millivolt peak to peak. So if I divide 131.64 divided by 40, I'll get a number as 3.29. So I write it over here. The AD value is coming out to be minus 3.291. So I have written it over here. Why minus? Because input and output are out of phase with each other. So now let us cross check a number with a theoretical value. So theoretically we were getting around minus 3.3, and practically in LT-Spice simulation we are getting around 3.29, which is quite close. So that's it for today. Next time we'll see some other topics on electronic circuit analysis and design. So today we have covered quite a bit of variety of circuits, including the current sources. So next time for the electronic circuit analysis and design online lecture, we'll cover some different topic. Thank you for your patience and thank you. Have a good day.